this is an R&D process for a book called Meal One by Ivor Cutler and illustrated by Helen Oxenbury.
One morning, Helbert woke with a plum in his mouth. He pulled it out and held it between his fingers for a good look. It was purple and juicy. Who put this plum in my mouth whilst I was asleep?
I looked at it and I thought, oh, this could make an interesting performance piece. And then I read it again and I thought, it's going to be quite tricky though, because there's lots of things happening in the story which are quite unusual, like a plum tree growing out of the floorboards of a bedroom and through a bed, and then the roots going down into the kitchen, and then all the roots eating everything in the kitchen. So that means that theatrically it's not particularly straightforward. It means that you've got to move away from naturalism and find other ways of telling a story like that. It's quite a complex little team of people here working on making this short exploration of the piece.
It's a story about a boy who wakes up in bed with a plum in his mouth, who plants the plum in the floor, and the plum tree grows through the bed, taking the bed with it, and then it also grows and takes over the kitchen. So what we've been trying to do this week for this research and development is to realise that. So it's coming up with sort of inventive ideas of how to suggest that physically by ideas to do with fabric and the set, and also to do with lots of choreography that suggests things. And also we have the very talented Fabric Lenny working on top of that, live drawing trees growing and roots coming through. So I think with the combination of those three elements, and the music as well obviously, then we should give a sense of what happens in the story without it being too literal. And also we haven't got the set because it's just a research and development, so it's been a bit of a challenge, but I think we've achieved something pretty good.
When I first read the book, I finished it and went, well, that was bonkers. And I thought how wonderful to have that kind of surprise. And it doesn't follow any kind of standard narrative structure at all. It's fab.
My name is Fabric Lenny. I'm an artist and animator, and within this production I'm creating moving visuals, sort of on the hoof, live. The story's written by Ivor Cutler, which really pricked my ears up to start with because I'm a real fan of his work, and it's a surreal take on a mum and her son getting up in the morning and preparing breakfast. There's some really interesting twists and double entendres within the piece which are really nice to play with, and visually there's a couple of set pieces which we've animated which really lend themselves to that approach. So it's quite a lyrical, fun, uplifting story.
What was interesting about the book is it's only 10 pages, which leaves lots of wonderful gaps, and there are clearly very sort of set pieces that are very magical. So that said to me that this was sort of going to be slightly thematic. Not that there would be a mother sound and a child sound, but there might be themes of nighttime, themes of magic, themes of waking, themes and so on. And so I started putting those together, and that gave me the opening of the piece. In writing the opening of the piece and setting the very first two words of the book, which is one morning, that gave me all the themes for the rest of the show, or at least the kernels of all the themes for the rest of the show.
We're responsible for the physicality of the piece, also to see how the natural flow, progression as well, being able to tell the story physically as well as obviously the text. And also what's quite interesting about this one is the relationship between projection and digital as well with movement.
This relationship between mother and a child, it's not about a new toy, it's not about a screen, it's about adventure and imagination, and that means that we can be really playful with the movement and create these different worlds. So yeah, sort of crying out for a lot of movement and choreography.
Unless, as I remove it...
I play Halbert. He's very adventurous and he's always doing fun stuff. He likes to laugh a lot. The best bit was probably when the plum tree grew because it looked really cool and I liked how they were climbing around in the tree and it looked really good.
Has proved to me that we've really got the potential for a really interesting children's show that would last about 40 minutes in the end, and that we can build a kind of world that children can inhabit.
Mom! I want my breakfast!
I'm very happy with it. It's it's a good 4 days' work. I'm exhausted and dying for a gin and tonic.
We've got something which is very rich. I think we all agreed it needs to be slowed down because we've been rushing into this fairly helter-skelter, but actually that's not really a problem at this time. We're not here to look at flaws, we're here to consider its potential, and I think we've shown it has a lot of very rich potential.
What lovely plums!